Hi, everyone. Hey, hope you're having a great start to Tuesday. And boy, I'll tell you, I'm really looking forward later today and this evening to taking a look at your brand new posts and videos that you turned in yesterday. I'm really been pleased with much of what the class has been doing, how well you've been engaging, and in particular on the topic of leadership and all the elements of it, and engaging others and so on. So, really look forward to seeing your videos and how you position yourselves as leaders and help others to get to know you better. So anyway, looking forward to that. But on to more discussion this week in Module 5 about strategic vision and innovation. What I want to do is spend just a couple of minutes kind of framing this topic, and in particular starting first with some of the language and terms we're using. I think at times I find that folks tend to use some of the terms like vision, mission, strategy, and whatnot interchangeably, when I think we all likely recognize that there really are some significant differences. So first, let's just talk for a moment about some of the differences in what vision is versus mission for a company versus a strategy. Starting off first with vision, I think this one is fairly clear, but remember, as we look and talk about vision, we're talking about where we want to go, a picture of what we want to become and where we're going. It's pretty clear. As a leader articulates and develops a vision, it certainly is a clear picture for the organization to see where they're going. If you remember, interesting enough, back to the Posner and Kouzes research, they talked a lot about, in particular, the research told us that a leader's need from a followership perspective is to be someone that's forward-looking. So when you think about a leader's responsibility for helping to create a vision for his or her team, really is essential. And by the way, that's not just the CEO or the senior executive creating the vision. It's the ability of a leader and manager at any level of the organization to understand the vision of where the company's going and cascade that to their people in a way that not just them collectively, that they collectively understand it, but that each individual really connects with the vision at their level and in their position and how they personally connect with it and contribute to that vision and getting there. So that's really in kind of a small snapshot what vision is. How does mission differ from that? Well, mission has much to do with not where we're going, right, specifically like vision is, but mission is about why it matters to the organization, why it matters to the people in it. It kind of speaks more to the purpose of the organization, who we are and what we value as an organization. So certainly a distinction. You're really connecting to the organization's sense of purpose and what they want, what the organization wants to become, and what they value as an organization. Really needs to, this is really, when you think about it, it connects to the emotional level of the organization and why people are doing what they do and what the organization is doing both for its customers and or even society, depending upon the company itself. And again, what the organization and the people in it value as they deliver on the mission, let alone the vision as well as an organization. Third piece is strategy, which again is nuanced and different in that while we've talked about vision being where we're going, what we want to become, and mission has much to do with who we are and what do we value as an organization, why it matters. Strategy is about the how we're going to achieve getting to the vision we've created for the organization. And ultimately, the goals and objectives roll out as components of that strategy for how we're going to gauge our degrees of success, how we're going to measure, are we making progress towards the vision we've set out. Again, strategy, how we're going to get there. Really important to kind of distinguish some of the differences between those two. Next one I want to talk a little bit about is back to this definition as we talk about strategy, then kind of link into what's a strategic vision, really connecting the two terms. But strategic vision really incorporates the need for 5 fundamental questions in your organization to answer for yourselves about the future. Again, a strategic vision really is the vision as we've been talking about, where we're going, and it connects ultimately to the strategy and how you're going to get there. But these 5 fundamental questions are essential to answer about the future of the organization. First, who's the customer? And I like always starting with this because the reality of any business, profit, nonprofit, public, private, so on, any organization has to clearly identify who is the customer that they're serving? Second, what's the unique value that we bring where the customer is going to choose our company, our product, our services over all others that we're competing with? Really pretty powerful statement, but the real key point here is what's the unique value we bring? If we have a difficult time identifying that unique value or differentiating ourselves from competitors, it's really difficult to understand why any customers that we have identified as important to us would choose our product or services over others. Third fundamental question is, what resources or capabilities do we have to deliver on this value? It's one thing believing we have a differentiated value and a unique value that we bring, but are we applying the resources and do we have the capabilities to deliver on that value? Because ultimately, if we tell customers we have a value we believe we can deliver on in a way that's unique and differentiable, are we supporting it with the capabilities and resources of the organization to deliver on that expectation? Fourth question is, how long could we sustain or can we sustain our ability to add this unique value? So it's one thing saying that we can create a unique differentiation in the way we deliver our value to our customers, create a competitive advantage, but how long can we sustain that value? I'll use an interesting example here. If you think back again to something like Netflix or Blockbuster, right? Blockbuster at a point in time absolutely had tremendous footprint, it had geographic presence, it had proximity to the customers it was serving, it certainly had significant market share and brand awareness, but it was about for them the sustainability of that specific value proposition as it relates to other competitors and what they could deliver. Ultimately, Netflix found a more effective way to deliver on that to that same customer in a way that brought more value and made that relationship more efficient in a way that was unique, in their case, to their competitor Blockbuster. Fifth question is, what are we going to choose not to do? Boy, when you think about strategic vision of an organization and where we're going, there are a lot of choices we make and we give a lot of thought to the things that we are going to do. But when we really sit back and reflect as leaders in an organization and be forward thinking about where we're going to go and the strategic vision we're creating for the organization, it is ultimately going to be all about choices. There are many options and many alternatives that companies can consider as to what customers they can serve and what unique value they can bring and what resources they have to deliver on it and the sustainability. But the reality is companies and organizations can't do everything. Ultimately, they have to make choices about what they're not going to do. And fundamentally, for many organizations, what they choose not to do and apply resources to oftentimes is every bit as much, if not more important than the upfront value. Because you see many organizations that ultimately overcommit, underperform, because they've not made those fundamental choices about what is essential that they do, but more importantly, what are the things they're going to choose not to do so that they can take those resources and apply those resources towards what's really essential for the organization to do to be successful. So as you think about this concept of strategic vision and kind of muddle through the concept and watch some of the videos and readings about strategy and strategic vision, think about those 5 fundamental questions. As you'll see as you get into the group project exercise that you've got this week, you're going to be answering those strategic questions around a specific example company that you choose to kind of model around it to answer those questions for that organization. It's really essential when you think about creating a strategic vision for a company that fundamentally those fundamental 5 questions are really answered for you as a leader. One of the interesting things, kind of back to those 5 questions, if you look at the slide deck that I've attached in Module 5, you'll see some interesting slides in there. Just on the question of who's my customer, think about one of the ones it's kind of interesting. JCPenney, a few years ago, if you followed it at all, hired a new executive to take over, a senior marketing executive with a lot of experience with Apple who's certainly been very successful. The reality is, back to that who is my customer, my own assessment when you kind of look at this, and ultimately when you look at the slide that relates to JCPenney's stock price over time, even with the strategy ultimately that this new executive tried to put in place, my sense is he and the organization lost sight of really who is their customer and what are they delivering to that customer in a unique way that makes them choose JCPenney over everyone else. And boy, you can see in the results ultimately the the net impact of failing to really understand and focus and answer the question for yourselves: who is your customer? Last things I want to leave you with today as we talk a little bit about strategy. I'll come back on a little bit more of this in another video tomorrow. Beyond those 5 questions, the other fundamental questions you need to answer for yourself is, how does your vision make money? Right? Fundamentally, what does the profit model look like for your organization? Right? What's management's blueprint for delivering on a valuable product or service to the customer in a manner that, again, will yield attractive profit? Right? Is it a broad-based heavy value proposition? Is it a profit formula that's built more on cost structure in order to effectively compete in a way to deliver that value in a cost-effective way that's better than your competitors? Does the profit formula ultimately describes the firm's approach to determining a cost structure that's going to allow you to deliver acceptable profits given the pricing that's tied to the customer value proposition that's uniquely yours? So as you think about, again, answering these questions, it's important to answer the question for yourself: how does your vision make money? It's interesting, if any of you watch the Shark Tank, that's oftentimes where a lot of the folks that are presenting their new ideas and concepts tend to fall down, is they've got a very creative idea. It may in fact be unique, but when they get to the question of how does the vision and how does this product or service and where they're going, how does it truly make money, it's oftentimes where they trip up. So understanding the vision of how your organization, how your vision makes money, what's the profit model look like, what's the customer value proposition you're offering in conjunction with the profit formula that describes this firm's approach to the cost structure that'll allow you to deliver acceptable profits, is an important consideration. So ultimately, translating this strategic vision into profit is ultimately the core objective of a business in this case. So muddle through and think through those questions as you reflect on the readings and begin to work on your group exercise together. But just want to share a couple of those core components as we talk about this topic during the course of the week, and ultimately link it to the importance of strategic, and in this case, innovation, and being innovative as a leader and inspiring innovation as a leader later on during the week. Hey, have a great day. Think about those things. Again, you can access a lot of the information I'm sharing with you in terms of this discussion on on the PowerPoint that's attached to this module as well, and look forward to catching up on a couple more concepts that I'm sharing in there with you during the course of the week. Have a great day.